Let's talk about happiness. That thing we're all chasing like it's the last Klondike bar in a heat wave. We think it's just over the next hill. Once I get the promotion, once I find someone who tolerates my weird sock collection, once my bank account stops looking like a cry for help. We live our lives in a constant state of almost, like we're perpetually buffering. But what if I told you that happiness isn't a destination you arrive at after a long soul-crushing journey? What if it's more like building with LEGOS? You start with what you've got, right here, right now. That's the core idea behind Maria Baltazzi's book, Take a Shot at Happiness. And today, we're going to unpack it. Because let's be honest, we could all use a little more joy and a little less, well, whatever this is. First, let's tackle the big, stinking lie we've all been sold. The idea that happiness comes from getting what you want. You know the drill. You grind for months to get that new phone. You unbox it. It's sleek. It's magical. You feel like a tech god for about 48 hours. Then, it's just a thing you use to scroll through pictures of your ex's vacation while you're on the toilet. This is a real thing called hedonic adaptation. It's our brain's brilliant ability to get used to good stuff super fast, so we immediately start looking for the next hit. It's like a drug, but the drug is a slightly better job title or a new air fryer. We're all stuck on this hedonic treadmill, running our asses off, getting nowhere, and wondering why we're still not happy. Baltazzi says the first step is to just get off the treadmill. Stop postponing your happiness until some magical future where all your ducks are in a row. Because life doesn't calm down. Your inbox will never be empty. Your kids will find new creative ways to be chaotic. Happiness doesn't live in the future. It lives right now, in this messy, imperfect, gloriously weird present tense. And this is where it gets good. The book frames you as the writer, director, and producer of your own life story. You're in the director's chair. So, are you making a grim, depressing indie film, or are you making a quirky comedy with a killer soundtrack? Now you might be thinking, easy for you to say, I'm genetically predisposed to being a grumpy bastard. And science would say, you're partially right. Research on the happiness set point suggests that about 50% of your baseline mood is genetic. Thanks, Mom and Dad. About 10% comes from your circumstances, your job, where you live, that sort of thing. But the other 40%? That's all you, baby. That's a huge chunk of the happiness pie that's up for grabs. It's shaped by your habits, your thoughts, and your intentional actions. That 40% is where you get to be the director. And even that 50% genetic chunk isn't set in stone. Your brain is plastic, meaning it can change. Every time you choose a new thought or action, you're literally carving new pathways in your brain. You're laying down new tracks. And speaking of choosing to do something that makes you feel good, you see that subscribe button down there. Hitting that is like a tiny shot of dopamine. It's a small intentional act that tells your brain, I'm investing in my own good vibes. It costs you nothing, and it helps you in your noble quest to rewire that beautiful noggin of yours. Go on, take a shot. Okay, so how do we start using this 40%? How do we become the Scorsese of our own serenity? It's not about grand gestures. It's about small, almost stupidly simple daily habits. First, your morning coffee. Don't just chug it while doom scrolling through news that makes you want to build a bunker. Sit with it. Notice the warmth of the mug, the smell. Watch the steam rise. Treat your morning coffee like it's a first date you're actually excited about. Give it your full attention for 5 minutes. It anchors you. Second, cut down the noise. Social media and the news are designed to flood your nervous system with fear and envy. It's like letting 1,000 screaming chickens run loose in your brain. You don't have to be uninformed, just unhooked. Pick one time of day to check in, then turn it off. Protect your peace. Third, move your body. Joy lives in your muscles and bones, not just your head. Put on some music when no one's home and flail around like an inflatable tube man in a hurricane. Seriously, your body can shake off tension way faster than your brain can think it away. Dance badly, stretch awkwardly, do 5 jumping jacks, just shift your physical state, and finally, go outside. I know, groundbreaking. But touching grass is not just a meme. It's legitimate advice. Sunlight, fresh air, the feeling of dirt. It resets your system and reminds you that there's a world bigger than your to-do list. These tiny things create an upward spiral. They don't solve all your problems, but they build your resilience so you can meet the day with a little more lightness. Now, what about when it's not you, but someone you love who's stuck in the mud? Our first instinct is to fix it. We jump in with advice like, just think positive, or everything happens for a reason, which, let's be honest, is about as helpful as a screen door on a submarine. The book suggests a radical approach. Just shut up and be there. Sit with them. Listen. Don't check your phone. Don't try to steer the conversation. Let them be messy and contradictory. Being truly heard, without judgment, is profoundly healing. Your job isn't to be a happiness-themed superhero. Your job is to just sit in the cave with them, pass them a flashlight, and remind them they're not alone. If they're really stuck, you can gently ask, what's one thing we could do to feel even 1% better right now? Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's a taco. Sometimes it's just another hug. Finally, let's talk about making real, lasting change. Breaking old habits, even the ones that hurt us, is terrifying. Why? Because they're familiar. Your brain loves the familiar, even if the familiar is a dumpster fire you've been living in for 10 years. At least it's a predictable dumpster fire. This is where faith comes in. Not necessarily religious faith, but a deep trust in the unknown. It's the Indiana Jones moment from The Last Crusade. He's standing at the edge of a giant chasm and has to step out into thin air, trusting an invisible bridge will appear. That's what change feels like. Quitting the soul-sucking job, ending the toxic relationship, setting a boundary for the first time. It's a leap into the void. You have to trust that if you take that shaky step, something will catch you. Neuroscience backs this up. When a painful, familiar thought pops up, like, I'm not good enough, don't fight it. Instead, Baltazzi suggests you bring to mind a memory where you felt safe, calm, or joyful. Hold that feeling for just 30 seconds. Feel it in your body. The more you do this, the more you train your brain to reach for that new feeling, weakening the old, crappy neural pathway. You're building your own invisible bridge, one good thought at a time. So, to wrap it all up, Take a Shot at Happiness tells us to stop waiting for life to be perfect. Happiness isn't some prize you win. It's a skill you practice. It's built with tiny, intentional choices, day after day. It's in the quiet coffee, the goofy dance, the silent support you offer a friend, and the brave, terrifying leap of faith into something new. It's about choosing to act like a happy person right now, until it becomes who you are. Thanks for hanging out today. Now go touch some grass.